10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome to Talks with Tyrell, aka Before I Say Something Nuts, the show where we talk to the people I'm closest with and we don't censor or stop them from saying anything. On today's show, I'll be talking to Raptor superstar, my twin, Scotty Barnes. But before we do all that, I'm joined by my close friend, my brother, the multi-talented artist U-SIF, who is stopping by so we can ask him all things about his sophomore album, Flowers Die Eventually. How are you doing today, U-SIF?
I'm doing all right. Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about the name of this album, Flowers Die Eventually. How do you come up with a name like that? Where does that come from?
It was actually, I went through like a bunch of names, and it was something like my sister just said to me, just randomly. And I literally just looked at her and I was like, that's gonna be the name of my
That's the one?
my next album. Yeah, literally was like, that's it, you know? It was kind of wild the way things just happen like that. The way you just kind of like just let like the universe go with it, and like whatever just comes to you, it's like, that's it.
So
I love those moments.
Speaking of what came to you, what inspired the album? What is the album about, if you were to put in a couple words?
It's about a lot of things, but I would say like my very own kind of like stages of grief, but in my version of it. And I just, someone once was like, listened to the album and was like, you're basically just trauma bonding with like so many people. And I was like, damn, that's kind of true. And that's kind of what it like is. It's just like my truth. It's like my fingerprint, like on it really. It's about like a lot of things also, and I just hope it connects with people.
That's the goal,
really.
to connect with people?
I really wanted to connect with people.
So which song do you think is going to have that impact? Which song is going to connect with the people the most?
Well, till now, like the song that I feel like connected the most and connects with me, which is like my favorite, which is probably Where to Find Love. The way that song all came together was just like kind of like wild. Like I wrote the lyrics separately, completely found like the instrumental separately, and it all came together beautifully. And like it just kind of like every time I listen to it, it's like I can't believe I made this.
Yeah, the people don't know. I actually listened to Where to Find Love. That's my favorite.
Yeah, he was like the first person to listen to it.
Almost brought me to tears. But like, what lyric? What like the name alone? Where to Find Love? Like that's. But like, what lyric in the song is like? That's the one. That's the caption. That's the song for the people.
I don't. It's like those lyrics are very kind of like dear to me. Sometimes even harder to hear the song. But if I guess I had to pick a lyric that I really liked, like the shopping cart is like a big theme in this album, which is why it's on the cover and everything. And the shopping cart kind of represents kind of like teenage youth and just kind of like spontaneity and freedom and stuff. But then like kind of when things turned toxic, I was just kind of like, then I realized that the cart was a cage, had to escape, so we crashed, ran away, hid in the woods. I tried to stay away, but I still thought about you every day. So it's kind of like that little contrast.
I still thought about you every day.
You know, like that little contrast between like freedom, but not. Thinking that you're free, you know what I mean? A lion born in a cage, that's just like that's their reality. That's like their world, so.
I'll make sure people get that. What is the breakthrough moment in this album? Because it's very emotional. This is not just SoundCloud rapper in his mom's basement, just saying things that rhyme. This is emotional. This is, what's the breakthrough moment? What was that moment like? Talk to him.
I think the biggest breakthrough moment for me was realizing that it was all about me. You know? That it was all about me. Like the whole time it's like you think like it's about the situation or it's whatever, but you realize like it was about me the whole time. And that was the biggest breakthrough for me. And that's why I felt like, oh my God, making this album was really like such a success for me, like personally, you know? And I hope that people could get to that conclusion by themselves through listening to the songs.
To preface like this next question, you're a student, you go to school. How do you make an album while in school? How do you do that?
It's actually really difficult. A lot of people think like it's probably just like you know what I mean, oh, you just make a song like every time you go home. It's like it takes like energy to tap into those emotions and tap into those frequencies, and I really had to like feel it. Like even like if I'm really tired and I work too, so it's like after I finish work or something, but if I really feel an emotion, I like have to push myself. It's like going to the gym. It's like this emotion won't be here tomorrow, you know what I mean? So I'm just gonna channel that right here like a shooting star. Just have to like grab it like right now, because it might not pop up again. But it is very draining. At the end, it's worth it.
How do you tap into that? How do you tap into those emotions?
I tap into it by just kind of being honest. I just let myself go. I just like pull up like my laptop and just have a blank page. The blank page doesn't scare me as much as like I would think it would. I really just kind of like let go and say like what I want to say. Like if it's about like a person, it's like what would I want to say to that person? It's about a situation, like what would be like my take on it with no filter, you know? And sometimes it's kind of like, damn, should I really say that? But it's like whatever, just like it has to be raw, it has to be honest. That's what connects with people.
That's what connects with people. Let's shift over to your musical interest outside of this album. Let me rephrase that. What albums, what artists, what people inspired this album? What are those people that you look to be like, yo, they had a part to play? Even if they never know, you had a part to play in this album.
I had a lot of inspiration from this album, actually. Maybe even more my first one. My first one was, all the albums were very dark. I like to look at them as like, my first album was like an experimental vibe, so more like Yeezus. But this one was more like Frank Ocean's Blonde, in a way. Even though they don't sonically interline, but like, just like the story and like the raw emotion, just kind of like Frank just kind of like pouring everything out there. So I would say Blonde. I would say a lot of alternative albums, My Chemical Romance, just so many just kind of like different like albums. Oh, Happier Than Ever, Billie Eilish's Happier Than Ever.
You know,
After Hours by The Weeknd. That was
there's some big names, big names.
Yeah, I mean, all these
Big
guys
names.
really like played like an integral part in helping me out. Just kind of work through these emotions, really.
So if you could have any artist.
And 808s too. I had to say that. Yeah.
Kanye? Yeah, sweet.
Just 808. Just I just.
Oh,
said
but say
808. I
the
had
name.
to say that.
Say
I
yeah.
just had to say
Say
808.
yeah.
I just had to say 808s.
If you
I just had to.
You didn't have to, but you did.
No, it was. I'm sorry. Like I listened to that one the most. Like, like I'm sorry.
If any of these artists could phone you in and be like, U-SIF, I want to be on this song, which artist would that be? Where it's like, I'm picking up the phone, I'm moving everything.
I literally have
you
it.
to be on it.
I'd have MJ on Flower Girl. I'd have like maybe The Weeknd on
Michael Jackson.
Find Love. Yeah, I'd have I had this cool thing with AI the other day where like I had like Kendrick Lamar like rap like a verse of one of my songs, and that really hit. So maybe he would be on there on like a different type of vibe. So who else? Frank, obviously. All the people I would love like all the people that inspired the project to have a full circle moment and be on the project. You know what I mean? It's like damn, like oh my god, like such a full circle moment. But yeah.
Finally, in a sentence or two, what's next for U-SIF? What's next?
I think we're gonna like just take it back to be like no shit's given. Like we're just not gonna care anymore. Like you know, I feel like we were just kind of like being, we were being like kind of like you know what I mean. We were just kind of being like sentimental on this one. Like next one we're just not gonna care.
Thank you for tuning in for another episode of Talks with Tyrell, aka Before I Say Something Nuts. I appreciate my brother U-SIF for coming on, not holding anything back. Next week we gonna have Drake, Justin Bieber, all of the crew back here next week. I'll see you next time.
Thank you for having me.